Okay, here are some common questions when people get a sourdough starter. Number one is the ingredients. What ingredients are you putting in there? Maybe even why does it matter, right? Okay, so if you were just here for our session and took home a sourdough starter, most of you walked out of here with 100 grams of starter in your jar. There was an exception of one of them had, Danielle, yours had 120, and then Vicky, yours had 60, 24, 60. Okay, so with the exception of those two, you'll have to adjust accordingly, but the rest of them were 100 grams of starter in there. So when you get ready to feed yours, assuming that you don't discard it, so if you just feed it, then if you don't have a scale, like let's start with that, okay? If you don't have a scale and you need to know how much it weighs out to be, it's about a half cup of water. And the water I use is water that has been sitting out for 24 hours on the counter, and or from the refrigerator. But from the refrigerator, it's cold. I prefer my water to be somewhere between 76 and 80-ish degrees. It can go a little bit above 80, but you don't want to get it to 100 or anywhere. You don't really want to even bother trying to get it to 100 because that can kill the yeast. So you don't want to have it too close to 100. But the comfort level of like 76 to 78, or I'm sorry, 76 to 80 is where I really like to have my water, especially if I'm bringing it out of the refrigerator, because I want to get it to that like comfortable state, right? Cozy state. So it's just important to make sure you don't have chlorinated water. That kills the yeast as well. Okay, so we have water and about a half a cup is going to be about 100 grams, right? I think so. Let me check. Yes, half a cup, 100 grams-ish. And then the flour is about 3/4 grams. Now let me talk about what kind of flour I use. The flour I use is all-purpose flour, unbleached. Make sure it's unbleached. Bleach will kill the yeast, so we want to make sure unbleached. And then sometimes I will add in some whole wheat flour to my starter just to get it more bubbly and active and strong. And what I mean by strong is it doubling in size within like 4 to 6 hours? If not, the two things I would check is like, is it in the right temperature? And what I mean by right temperature is, again, that cozy state of like somewhere around 75, 76 degrees will get it to rise or like double in size within that 4 to 6 hours. If it's doubling slower, it's probably just because you have it in a cooler temperature. And that's okay. That doesn't matter. You're just going to have to figure out where it just gets it stronger. Okay, your starter is stronger when it can double in size within 4 to 6 hours. And so whole wheat will help the yeast in there, helps to like activate it a little bit faster. I've also heard of rye wheat working really well. I haven't used rye wheat. I've only used whole wheat, again, organic. And then I use the all-purpose flour, unbleached. I also use organic, but unbleached is the most important part of that. And then, as I said, it's 3/4 is about 100 grams. I know there are things on like Google and stuff, so if you don't know how much, but you don't have a scale, you can try to do it that way. The consistency you want to get is like a thick pancake batter. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. This like thick pancake batter. It doesn't like drip off too fast off your spatula or anything like that. But all you need is a jar. I like to use a rubber spatula because it gets off the sides of the container really easily, and then some kind of like loose lid. If you don't have a lid, you can put like a plate on top of it. You just don't want to get any like fruit flies or anything like that in your house, and then you don't want to let like dust and like dirt go in there, right? So that's all it's doing. But you want to also allow gases to release, so you don't want anything tight on there. Okay, so happy starter life. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to answer them as well.